Hi there. I'm Stacy Ray, Executive Director of Lane Arts Council, and I'm happy to be hosting this week's live stream happy hour. With us today is Michael Fisher, Executive Director of the Maude Kerns Art Center. Welcome, Michael.
Hello, thanks for inviting
me. Again, super excited to have Michael here. The Maude Kerns Art Center was founded in 1950 and is a nonprofit community center focused on the promotion and advocacy of the visual arts. Michael is here today to tell us about Maude Kerns Art Center's history, exhibits, workshops, upcoming events, and all the awesome things happening at the Art Center, including Visual Arts Week and one of our favorite community events, Art in the Vineyard. Before he does, I just want to share a little bit about what we're up to today, what we're doing here, and if you're tuning in, welcome. Again, my name is Stacy Ray, Executive Director with Lane Arts Council, and we have here with us Michael Fisher with Maude Kerns Art Center. And I'm totally a newbie at this, so we're going to be doing our best. We'll see how this goes.
Me too. Don't worry.
Yeah, just happy to be here with you all. So yeah, first of all, live stream happy hour. Lane Arts Council started live stream happy hour in 2020 during the pandemic as a way to better get to know artists and arts leaders in Lane County, in our arts community. The months of July and August are especially special as we're celebrating the visual arts in our community leading up to Visual Arts Week. Visual Arts Week is happening August 6th through 13th, so it's coming up, and this is a great time for us to highlight our visual artists and visual arts venues and spaces in our community. So you can tune in every Wednesday to hear from more artists, and especially visual artists over the next few weeks who are working on amazing projects in our community. Lastly, this is also a great opportunity for me to remind you about the importance of supporting the arts in Lane County. The arts are essential. We know the arts are essential to helping our community thrive, to providing opportunities for us all to be creative and expressive in our own ways, and to making Lane County the place that we love to live. We also know that as we come out of the pandemic, the arts and culture will be a second responder, helping us reconnect to ourselves, each other, our community, and help our community heal. So please consider making a donation today to Lane Arts Council, to Maude Kerns Art Center, or to your favorite arts organization, whoever that may be, or consider investing in a new piece of art by a local artist. Whatever way you choose, we hope you'll support our arts community. So with that, enough of me talking. I've got a pile of questions for Michael, and also I'm going to be keeping an eye on the comments as best I can. So if you've got questions you want to ask Michael about what he does or about the Maude Kerns Art Center, pop those in the chat, and I'll try to get to those as we continue our conversation. So with that, give me one quick sec here. My first question for you, Michael, and we're all wondering this, who was Maude?
Oh, that's a good question. So I love talking about Maude. I love letting people know who she was. Because she was such an amazing artist and art educator who really made a huge impact on Eugene and the arts community, but also regionally and nationally. Maude was born in 1876, and she was the daughter of pioneers, and she was born in Portland. And she actually graduated from the University of Oregon, and then went on to study at the Art Institute of San Francisco, graduated from the Teachers College at Columbia University in New York with art education degree, and actually went on to start the art education program over at the University of Oregon, which then evolved into the arts administration program, which is a program that I graduated from graduate school, and as well as so did you, Stacey. So Maude started our program. So how exciting is that? So I'm thrilled to be able to be continuing her work and her legacy here at the Art Center, considering the opportunity that she provided me by starting that program. But Maude went on to do all different types of artwork. She did, landscape painting, portraiture, all different types of stuff. She traveled the world and was really heavily influenced by Asian artwork. But the work that she is most known for is the work that people are seeing right now. That is her non-objective abstract art. So really, easily described as any artwork that is devoid of any sort of reference to the natural world, really focusing on the sort of geometric. That's an example of her realism. But anyway, this is the work that kind of found her in the art history books. She was doing this way ahead of her time. She's one of the first women artists in the Pacific Northwest who was doing this type of work, which then led her on to exhibiting at the Museum of Non-Objective Art, which actually turned into what we know as the Guggenheim Museum in New York City.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a pioneering woman. Like hearing about history. I mean, you said she was the first woman who exhibited at the Guggenheim?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the first women to be exhibited there at the Museum of Non-Objective Art. And she was there when all these amazing, Rolf Scarlett and Hans Hofmann, all these amazing artists were there. She was part of that group that was there doing this, and she exhibited there for over a decade. And her work is still in the permanent collection of the Guggenheim, which is really exciting. She's also in collections at Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, the Seattle Art Museum, Tacoma Art Museum, Portland Art Museum. And what's really cool about her too is that this is the work that she is most known for, but she didn't even start doing this work until she was in her 60s, which is just amazing. This shows that she was still curious and trying out different stuff and wanting to learn different types of art, which I'm just so impressed with, which I think also just goes to Maude's legacy of how art can really be a part of your whole life and how it can change over the years as you continue on your artistic journey. But yeah, she's pretty exciting. So she actually also went on to help get the original collection, the Asian art collection, that went on to become the University of Oregon Art Museum, which then turned into the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. So she was really heavily involved in all of these different facets here in our community for a lot of these institutions that are still going on today, which is really, really thrilling.
Thanks. I love hearing about that. Like, what an incredible woman, what an incredible legacy. And you all, I think, do such a great job of keeping her legacy alive through all that you do at the Art Center. So that's such amazing and next, I mean, related to that is, I think that the Maude Kerns Art Center has a long history. I think you said, Michael, that you just celebrated your 70th anniversary. That's super exciting. So tell us a little bit about the history of the Art Center.
So we owe it all to Maude. I mean, really, truly, she was instrumental in creating the Art Center. So the Art Center was founded back in 1950. And it was founded as the Eugene Art Center, and it was founded by a group of local artists who, Maude wanted a place, a community art center where people could come and exhibit their work and where they could learn and take classes. And so she donated a house that she had that was downtown. I don't think it's there anymore, unfortunately, but she donated a house that for the first, about 13 years, 15 years, was housed out of that house. The Art Center was there. And then in, I think it was 1965, they found out that the church that we're currently in, the old Fairmount Presbyterian Church that was built back in 1895, was up for sale. And the artist thought, well, hey, this would be a great property to move the Art Center to expand their galleries, expand their classroom space. So Maude sold the house and she gave them the money that then allowed them to be able to purchase the church, to be able to turn it into the Art Center. And it was at that time that the artist then dedicated it to her, and it became the Maude Kerns Art Center. So really it goes back to her. And, since 1965, we've been here at this location. And hundreds of exhibits and classes and workshops and all sorts of studio spaces that over the years many artists have come through here. The Art Center we've shown Ansel Adams, we've shown, I'm trying to think of some of the other big names that we've got here. Andy Warhol had work here at one point in a traveling show. Rick Bartow had his first exhibit here at the Art Center. There's all of these amazing artists who touched this place, and the Art Center actually became the hub for what then went on to become the Lane Community College Art Department. They actually started it here at the Art Center, and many of the instructors here then went on to form what then became the Lane Community College Art Department. I love being part of an organization that has such an amazing, rich history. I always joke with people that, like, whenever I go to the grocery store, I'm probably going to run into, like, either a former director or a former board member or somebody who at some point in their life was connected to the Art Center. But they're always great stories, and they're always excited to know that it's still going on. We've got grandparents who, their children are now adults, and they're now bringing their children here to take classes. So anyway, it's so cool to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new that I'm just like, what? Like, how? I had no idea.
I forget it all. There's just so much. So yeah.
What an incredible history. And yeah, if you haven't, if any of you out there haven't had the chance to come check it out, like, go. It's such a special space. And like Michael was talking about, there's an incredible amount of community history there. I mean, connections to other arts organizations in our community, connections to a huge range of artists. That's just awesome. So Michael, tell us about what's the mission and the vision of the Maude Kerns Art Center, and what do you see as the future for the center? What do you see as the Maude Kerns Art Center's role in our arts community, and where are you situated within all that too?
That's a lot. Let me just start by what we do. So we're a community art center that's really dedicated to the visual arts and all the various mediums that entails. And our mission is really kind of a twofold. We're really focused on nurturing artistic expression and creativity in sort of the individual, but on the second level, then also really cultivating an appreciation of an understanding of art and culture in our community, and to really be out there to express that art is accessible to everybody, regardless of age, regardless of sex, regardless of race or ethnicity, regardless of income. The art is can be part of everyone's world. And that accessibility is what's so important for us here at the Art Center. So that all of our programs are always coming from that point of view of wanting to support the individual, but then also to educate our community about the value of art. For me, the role of the Community Art Center is so essential because you want it to serve as sort of a place where everyone feels like they can participate, they can engage with art. And part of that is accessibility. So making sure that things like our gallery is always free, making sure that people can come down and they can see exhibits whenever they want to. Making sure that the classes and workshops that we're offering are not too expensive, and that we offer scholarship opportunities so that people can come and engage and be a part of it. And also that it really is a full community art center, where everyone feels like that they can be a part of it. And so a lot of the work that we do and will continue to do in the future is to really reach out and to let people who are from underrepresented communities or people who do feel marginalized, that they feel like that they have a place here at the Art Center all year round, and that they know that those programs and those opportunities are accessible to them. So for me, the future of the Art Center, where I want us to see, is just to really continue to be that hub of creativity and that hub of expression, artistic expression, that people can continue to go to for opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. You really talk a lot about accessibility, and that is that's so important. I mean, art truly is for everyone. And I think that, you know, when you go to Maude Kerns, you really feel that. You feel like, hey, this is for me and all of us. Like the fact that, you know, everyone should have opportunities for creativity and expression and to experience art. And I know, like, for Lane Arts Council, that's what we're all about too, is increasing access to the art, to arts and culture, you know, through things like the Art Walk and our arts education programs too. So yeah, all about that. And you've had a little bit of a journey yourself, like coming to be the executive director. You have a pretty long history with the Art Center. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, I've done art my whole life and went to my undergraduate in art and found myself living in New York City and working in financial services, and was like, you know what? I don't necessarily know if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So you know, it was really great. My boss there, the consulting firm that I work for, was like, hey, you know, there's this thing called arts administration and arts management. You should check this out. And so that's what brought me to the University of Oregon and to Eugene, was to participate in that program. And I knew that I wanted to work in community arts. That's where I always knew that I wanted to be. And so I started as an intern here at Maude Kerns Art Center while I was in grad school. I did a practicum here, and then that sort of turned into a part-time office job while I was still in graduate school. And then right when I was graduating, it just worked out that the current exhibits director was decided to move on to a new opportunity. And so there was just this sort of passing of the baton of like letting me be able to come in as their exhibits director here. So from about 2010 all the way through 2018, I did all of the exhibits here at the Art Center, as far as designing and installing and coordinating all of that. Which I loved. It was one of the best jobs I've ever had. It was just so fun working with artists and just seeing the reward of seeing how excited they are to show their work, and to be a part of that experience with them was so rewarding. And then in 2018, I came on as the executive director. So it's such a crazy thing to go from intern to the director. And so I'm so happy to be a part of the organization.
Yeah. It's so evident how passionate you are about the Art Center, and like you really had quite the journey, and but it's really awesome. So yeah, I mean, you've had a lot of experience working with artists in your work at Maude Kerns. So tell us how does the Art Center support local artists? I mean, I know, you know, you all do exhibitions, oftentimes open calls to artists in the community. You provide studio space, education. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we do a lot of different stuff. We have a lot of different programs. The first one, the main one that we do, is we offer exhibit opportunities for artists. And there's a lot of variety of different ways in which you can exhibit here at the Art Center. You know, one of the great ways is for emerging artists that are just interested in sort of getting some exhibit history. We do, you know, non-juried membership shows. So you can participate, sign up for a membership at the Art Center, participate, do our membership shows. We have a membership gallery that we have up all year round. We have an online membership gallery you can participate in. And it's just a really supportive, easy way to sort of dip your toe into getting your work out there. And that's such a huge moment for an artist when they make that leap of taking it from their home or their studio and putting it up on a wall for people to react and respond to. So, you know, that's a really great way. But we also do a lot of individual calls, and we also do a big biennial call. So there's really an opportunity for artists who have a real spectrum of exhibit history, you know, whether you're just starting out or you're an established artist. And there, you know, Stacy's showing our Call to Artists page. So anytime we have an opportunity, we put it up there on that page. Right now we have our Mayor's Teen Art Show, which is really exciting. Fun fact about that we have an artist who's actually going to be in our show that's opening up next Friday called Image Overload, who 20 years ago, her very first show was the Mayor's Teen Art Show. And now she's, you know, a professional artist who's exhibiting. She lives down in California. but she wanted to come back to the art center and have a show, this place where she started her exhibit history. So it's a super fun show. We also do an annual Dia de los Muertos exhibit, which really celebrates the holiday. And we have additional calls that we'll put out there for people to apply to. And then every 2 years, we do a huge biennial call. We always like to schedule our shows out every 2 years so that we really have the opportunity to make sure that we have, diversity in shows, diversity in mediums, lots of different types of stuff. And so that 2-year span gives us an opportunity to really put together something special. So artists can apply as individuals or as group shows or small group shows to be a part of that. And then what we do is we curate that season, and then those are the artists who we then invite to participate here at the Art Center. So there's lots of opportunities depending on what you're looking for and the level that you're interested in. So I really encourage people to definitely keep an eye on those opportunities if you're interested in exhibiting. So. Another thing that we love to be able to offer artists are classes. Being able to, let people know about, we offer classes every 4 terms, the summer, winter, spring, fall, in a variety of mediums: painting, ceramics, printmaking, photography, really any sort of level. A lot of ones that are really great for just getting started, like beginning drawing and fundamentals of oil painting and all those great fundamental classes. But then we also try to put in some more intermediate and advanced classes as well, and some specialized workshops. And it's always different. Every term is different. Different instructors, different types of classes and workshops. Right now we're in the middle of summer art camp. So we've got 8 weeks of summer art camp and 6 weeks of our young adult teen art labs. Our new laboratory program just started out this summer for teens, and it's a great way for teens to learn about lots of different types of mediums in a very sort of like, let's experiment and play and not focus on what the final product is going to be sort of way, which is sort of our new approach, especially with our teen classes. So lots of different opportunities to continue to engage and learn about new classes and new art forms and new mediums and stuff.
Yeah, I love what you were talking about. I mean, I think that piece around emerging artists and helping artists, develop their work and confidence to keep growing in their practice. And that example you gave of the artist who's going to be in the show coming up, that's the perfect example of how amazing the work is that you do, helping artists in their career, from young artists, emerging artists who might participate in the laboratory to then, applying for a solo or group show later on in their careers. So awesome. And Michael, I think, it'd be great to hear about the studio spaces as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know you opened up a couple new ones and are continuing to grow that, which is super exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one of the ways that, I love that we're able to provide studio space. And I think that's an area where I'd love for the Art Center to still continue to grow, is to be able to continue to find more ways to provide affordable and accessible studio space. So right now we have a large ceramics studio called Club Mud Ceramics Co-op. We have about 30 to 35 ceramic artists who have their studio space and kiln space that they use there. And these are a lot of those artists, those amazing artists that you see at the Saturday market, the holiday market, the ones that do festivals, and a lot of them are also exhibiting artists who do shows as well. And they're just amazing. They're some of the best potters in town, and I love the fact that we're able to have them here on site and to see their work and to be able to celebrate their work on a daily basis is great. We also have a darkroom space. We just opened up our darkroom photography studio. We're working with the Eugene darkroom group. So that's our newest studio, and we've got a great group of young traditional film photographers who are loving to get in the studio, get in there, and also really to just continue to let people know about the art form of film photography, because a lot of the people just don't have access to that equipment or to the dark space anymore. So It's been really fun watching them work and watching them grow as a group. And they're going to start having their own exhibits and their own stuff. So we're thrilled to have them here at the Art Center. And then we also have our printmaking studio, which we just opened up here back in 2018. And so, this space is available for people to come in who are interested in a lot of different processes. You can rent studio time. You can come in. We have a lot of materials that you're able to use for you to be able to come in and use the presses for that. So it used to be the home of the Oregon Printmakers Association. And so it's got great history of providing some amazing artwork to come out of there. So we're excited to have people back in the studio to continue to work on that. So those are just some of the ones. Another thing that I always like to let people know too is that we also, traditionally during non-COVID time do live drawing sessions with art models and stuff. So we typically do, figure drawing sessions, figure painting, figure sculpture. So those will hopefully be able to bring back in the fall, hopefully with restrictions easing up a little bit. But that's another great opportunity if you like to work from a live model. That's something that we always like to be able to provide an easy and accessible way for people to do that. So.
Yeah, and how awesome, especially for, disciplines like clay, like photography, like printmaking, it really is essential for artists to have, there's a lot of specialized equipment involved, right? Like, especially if you're a young and emerging artist, you don't necessarily, and especially folks like coming out of, I think, like an arts program, you don't have access to a kiln, you don't have access to a darkroom or printmaking equipment, and that stuff is expensive. It might not be easy to access. And so these kinds of spaces are incredibly important. And, you also get that built-in community. I remember when I was going through art school, I was always so jealous of, I was in painting and drawing. So I'm like over there, off in my corner. I was so jealous of the people who were doing ceramics and printmaking because they had that community. They were they had to use that shared space and that shared equipment, and it was sort of built in. And I always thought that was really, really wonderful.
I always wanted to go hang out with the ceramic artists. So I had tons of really bad clay work that I did just so that I could say I could hang out with them.
I know. I so have those feels. So this is such a great resource. It was super exciting for me to hear when you opened up the darkroom and the printmaking studio. That's pretty awesome improvements. And the great thing for emerging and established artists in our community to know about these spaces and all the classes, call to artists, exhibition opportunities. You guys really do so much for artists.
And depending on if there's somebody who's looking for a particular type of, resource or equipment or whatever, we're really, we can always look and see what we are able to offer. And if we're not, we're really great about trying to connect you with those that may have that, what you're looking for. Looking out to all of our other great community partners that are out there that can help provide, some of those resources as well.
Yeah. So I want to skip ahead and make sure we get to talk about Visual Arts Week. I'm going to give a little intro to this, and then so Visual Arts Week is a partnership started by the City of Eugene Cultural Services Division in partnership with Maude Kerns Art Center and Lane Arts Council to celebrate the visual arts in Eugene, in our community, visual arts, visual artists, visual arts spaces. And it's, it's been 3 or 4 years now that it's been hosted, and it's usually the first beginning of August, kicking off on the first Friday Art Walk. So Visual Arts Week this year will be August 6th through 13th. There's a ton of stuff going on, both virtual and person, so depending on what you want to be doing. Like I said, it'll kick off on the first Friday Art Walk, which is August 6th, which we've been doing First Friday Art Week all through COVID and it's kind of been the Art Walk, but not really. And so this will be our first return to First Friday Art Walk.
Yay! I'm so excited about that.
We're so excited.
I've missed it.
So do I. So we'll be kicking off Visual Arts Week on First Friday, and then that whole following week, there's going to be virtual and in-person galleries, window front exhibitions, which is a initiative started by the city that brings satellite art installations in downtown window fronts. Pretty cool. Self-guided mural tours. We're hosting some virtual art talks with artists, and then you all, Maude Kerns Art Center, is hosting several arts workshops. So tell us about those, Michael.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to be a part of this, and we love working with Land Arts and working with the City of Eugene Cultural Services. This is exactly the kind of work that I love to do, to be able to provide opportunities for people to really try out art, different types of art forms. Stuff that they maybe haven't had a chance to be able to do, whether it was time or resources or whatever they needed. So for Visual Arts Week, we've got a huge amount of workshops depending on what you're interested in, both in person, virtual, at lots of different skill levels, introductory classes, classes where you really get to use art as a way to sort of help process through different emotions, art for protest, art through, trauma healing. Really about anything that you're interested in. And we even have classes that are really, sort of the advanced ones. You have the opportunity to take an amazing sculpting class with a great sculpture artist, Charlie Swing. I mean, that's an amazing opportunity right there to be able to do that with Art City. So we're thrilled to be able to have this offering, not only through the Art Center, but also through other great arts organizations here in town, and also from independent artists as well. So, for the Art Center, we offer these really great micro workshops, which are just these free 2-hour workshops where you can pop in and you can learn about different types of mediums. We've got drawing, we've got ceramics, we've got printmaking. We even have a great class for kids and parents to take together where they can start to learn about art history and how to go to an art museum or a gallery and look at artwork and start to discover that, start to learn that vocabulary and start to learn about, like, what's it like to go to a gallery and how are you in the space and how do you interact with the artwork. And we're thrilled to be able to offer that this year as part of that. Another highlight that I just really want people to know about is we've got this great a national art project called the This Is Not a Gun Project. And we're going to have 2 Eugene workshops here. They're going to be held at the Art Center, but they're going to be hosted by the Sister Circle of Eugene with the national project, with the This Is Not a Gun art project started by artist Cara Levine, who's based out of LA. But what it is it's an opportunity for participants to really immerse themselves through the creative process of using your hands and working with the clay, and really working on processing through these important issues of social justice and race and racism and all the stuff that this last year has really shown us that the art can really be a catalyst to really engage with this type of work. And so that's what this project is. So participants will come in and it'll be a facilitated workshop to really talk about these issues. But at the same time, these artists, these students are going to be creating objects out of clay that were objects that were part of a list of objects that police mistook for guns. And from predominantly, Black men that were used and were killed for. And so you'll have things like, the picture there is an iPhone, and there's all different types of objects that have been created from this art project. And so there's thousands of pieces that live in this archive, and they travel around and exhibits. So it's going to be so neat for Eugene to be able to contribute to this amazing project. So I definitely invite people to check it out, read through the material, visit the website, and I think it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to be a part of that. And the Art Center is so excited to be able to host it. So,
yeah, what an awesome project, and such a strong and meaningful example of art as activism. That's part, I was talking about like art helping us out of, during this time of recovery and helping us heal, but it's also, empowering us to sort of, deal with these issues that are coming up and work, think about what we can do in this time of social justice and social injustice, of how we can, have a voice and empower others to have a voice and bring these issues to the forefront. So this is such a cool, and what a great way to engage our community with a project like this. So awesome. Really great lineup of workshops. So definitely for all y'all out there, check out these workshops. It's going to be an awesome week. There's a lot to do. So you can learn about the Visual Arts Week workshops and more on the City of Eugene's Visual Arts Week website. There's also information on Lane Arts Council's website and Maude Kerns Art Center. So again, Visual Arts Week coming up right there on the banner, August 6th through 13th. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, no, it's so great. And it's just, I love the fact that we have something that's just like, you know what, we're going to take this time and we're just really going to celebrate the visual arts in our town, and to really also provide an opportunity for people who maybe haven't had a chance to really connect with the visual arts community, a really great way to be able to do that. So I really encourage everyone to really do as much as you can. There's so much fun stuff out there.
Yeah, and what a great time to come out and connect with artists again, connect with art spaces, and connect with each other. So I'm super excited. All right. So with that, Michael, what are the other upcoming events that are going to be happening in Maude Kerns?
Let's see here. Next week, we have a new show that's opening. It's called Imagery Overload. And it is a 3-person show featuring local artist and painter Elizabeth McGee, as well as Jessica Eastburn, painter from California, who was our Mayor's Teen Art Show 20 years ago and now is back doing some amazing pop work for us here. And then also Don Manderson, who's from, I believe, Pensacola, Florida, who will also be doing some really great digital manipulated imagery, photography stuff, a digital artist working out there. And so this show really, it's all about like sort of having you sort of really reflect on the amount of just imagery that comes at you from all the different platforms, through social media, through advertising, through all the various platforms that are out there. And and how that affects your day to day, and how do you process all of that imagery, and how do you process that stuff that surrounds you from day to day, as it comes through. And so it's really an interesting commentary on, the sort of current state that we're in right now, with all the different, social media stuff coming at you, and advertising and marketing and commercials and TV and everything that we live with on a day-to-day basis. So it'll be a really interesting show. It's really fun. I really hope people come out. I promise you'll definitely have a smile when you walk around and see some of these works. They're really interesting. So that'll open up on the 30th, and then I'll be up for a while. And then we've got, Visual Arts Week coming up the weekend after that on the 6th and 7th, all the way through the 13th. So we'll have that going on. We've got Summer Art Camp going on, classes. We'll be coming out here with our fall class schedule here at the beginning of September. So anyone who's interested in taking some classes this fall, just keep an eye out for that. We'll have lots of different types of classes and workshops for youth, young adults, and adults as part of that. And then in September, September 10th, 11th, and 12th, we're going to be having Art in the Vineyard, which is our big arts festival, where it typically happens over 4th of July holiday, but this year we postponed it to September, and we're super excited to have it back. This will be our 37th year of hosting this annual event. And it serves as the primary fundraiser for the Art Center. And it is just, it's another great example of a wonderful event that really just celebrates community arts. We'll have a big artist marketplace with artist booths. Typically, we have anywhere between 80 to 100 artists that have work, all different types of mediums that are there. We'll have art for your garden. So it's not too late in the year to still find something for your garden. We'll have trellises and sculptures and all sorts of amazing garden art, and nurseries and farms will be participating in that. It's the most popular area of the festival. It's always so fun to see. You can never have too many birdhouses. You know, you can definitely find a fun artistic birdhouse there for that. We'll have wineries. We usually have really great Willamette Valley wineries that participate, food vendors, youth art arena activities, a youth performance stage, and then also our main stage entertainment, which we've got some really great. We got Candy Apple Blue this year. We've got Satin Love Orchestra who's going to be performing special for us. We're really excited. We've really continued to really make it a celebration of our community, and so all of the performers on our main stages and our youth stages are all local artists, are all local performers, and that's a real change, you know, from the years past. So I'm excited that we really get to bring in these great local bands who have really great followings and that people love to see perform in this big outdoor arena, which is really fun. So that will be, that'll be September 10th, 11th, and 12th. Tickets will just be $7 a day, and those proceeds go to help support all of the education and the exhibits programs and studio programs here at the Art Center for us to be able to continue to do the work that we do. So.
Such an important event for you guys. How can, like, you know, it takes a lot to put on this event, right? How can people, you know, if they're an artist or they want to volunteer, what opportunities do you have?
Yeah, so we're always looking for volunteers. We've got tons of volunteer opportunities, whether you're interested in booth sitting or helping out with garden, you know, watering plants, doing activities with art activities with kids. We're always looking for volunteers. And so if you go onto our Art in the Vineyard website, you'll be able to find the volunteer information here to be able to sign up here soon and be able to do that. And, you know, anyone who volunteers gets a free day pass to the festival. So you get to volunteer one day, you can come back the next day with your friends and family and get to enjoy the show and get to enjoy it. So you get a fun t-shirt and all sorts of great stuff. So it's just a really great way to help support your local artists.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Well, you know, speaking of having to make shifts, I wanted to ask, you know, this has been a hot topic, I think, in our arts community, is how it's been hard, you know, as arts organizations to figure out how to transition, and so many have just been trying to make it through this past year. But it's also been a time that has really prompted arts organizations to feel the freedom to take risks like they never have before, and to innovate, and you know, to just try new things. And, you know, we've done that too. And, you know, some things work and some things don't. And we're, you know, it's been an exciting time of innovating and trying new programming and projects and ways of working. So how was the Maude Kerns Art Center impacted by COVID? And is there anything that you're carrying forward into the future from this experience that you maybe tried out or implemented that was new during that time?
Yeah, I mean, like Late Arts and like all the other, you know, incredible arts organizations, both visual and performing, and, you know, everyone, we were affected pretty hard by it. You know, the Art Center closed for the first time for an extended period of time. All of our classes had to stop. All of our exhibits had to stop. And so we really had to pivot very quickly to what can we do? And that, you know, really gave us that opportunity to really invest in what type of offerings we can do virtually. So we started doing that. We started offering online classes, painting classes, drawing classes, photography classes. We started doing, you know, all of our exhibits online. You know, we were right when we shut down, we were right in the process of about ready to open a show, and we ended up pivoting, and we ended up doing our first fully virtual call for our first online show called A Change of Space. And putting that together in 3 days with over 260 some images, trying to arrange that and get that up on site for the first time ever. Like, why not? Which is just a really good example. I think that is what, the Art Center really embraced during this last year, which is like, there's no rules. I mean, we really have the opportunity to really examine how we've been doing stuff and trying out new things, new technologies, new platforms. As things started to open up, we've maintained a lot of that. We've pretty much now, anytime an exhibit opens in person, we still open that same exhibit online in a virtual show. People can go on there and see the whole show, take a virtual tour of it, see all the artwork. You can purchase the artwork right there on the website. These are all things that you couldn't have done before, which is just great, And I think that ties into that accessibility thing that we talk about. Like, I think that what COVID did too really reminded me about accessibility and people that aren't able to come to the Art Center, and to still be able to access those programs and still be able to access, the stuff that we do, for us to really continue to carry that through our programming and make sure that we're still providing opportunities for people if they're not able to be here in person, and that they can still be a part of the Art Center. And then it also opened it up to people who didn't live in a geographic location, which is great. I love doing artist talks, virtual artist talks, where we have people in 3 different time zones who are tuning in to watch the different artists speak and stuff. So COVID, definitely limited our capacity for what we could do. But my staff, I'm sure, is really tired of hearing me say, it really allowed us to do plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D for everything that we were doing, so that we could still continue to offer, opportunities to engage and also to support our artists and our instructors, to really continue to be able to offer them the opportunity to earn and to sell their work and to teach their classes as well during that crazy time. So it's definitely had its impact, but we learned a lot, and I think that we've grown a lot. And I'm so proud of the work that my staff and our board and volunteers and instructors and everybody did during that time period. We definitely was a true community effort to get through it.
Yeah, arts community was one of the hardest hit early on, and is going to be the last to recover. And I think everybody's navigated in different ways, and it's great to hear, what that looked like for you all. And every one of us is taking away, new practices in our programs and our work that, and a lot of it is in an optimistic sense, has really increased our accessibility in a big way. So that's a big benefit from it for sure. So Michael, we just have a few minutes left, but I want to know, do you have an art practice, a creative practice, and why is art important to you?
Oh, when do I have time to do art? I do, and I've done art since I was a little kid, and all different types of art. Visual art. My undergraduate was in theater performance. I did, sung in choirs. I did all different types of art. And so art has really been a part of my whole life. And luckily I came from a very artistic family that really, started us young to really, dive into the arts and to really appreciate arts and to really try out new things. So, I've done all different types of art. I've done, like I said, bad ceramics, probably even worse paintings and whatnot. But I love watercolor. I love doing watercolor. I love the complexity of using water and pigments. And so the work that I do primarily now, a lot of it is, ink sketching, dropping in watercolor. I love to work plein air sketching type work. I love working off the still life. For me, it's about just having that time to really sit and focus. It's that sort of therapeutic meditative time where you get to sit and do that. I wish I had more time to do it. When I started working at the Art Center, I always tried to make sure that I always took a class every term so that I had that like built-in time that I continued to work. And I think I took the beginning watercolor class like 10 times in a row, even though I knew watercolor fairly well. I knew the principles and stuff, but just so that I could come in and sit down and be there with other artists who are also working, and then, you know, getting feedback from the instructor, and, you know, and she just allowed me to be able to work and do my time and be able to do that. So I love trying all different types of art. It's really great. It's been fun, you know, really having a chance to learn more about film photography, which I didn't know anything really about. You know, hadn't worked in the darkroom when I was in school. So it's been fun learning more and more about that as we've been doing. It's been fun learning more and more about different printmaking processes as we've added, you know, new presses and whatnot. So it's been fun. And I think that that's what I love about art, is that it's a part of your whole life. Whether you're young, you're old, you know, you really have the opportunity to just really continue to let it be a part of your life. And there's always the opportunity to learn more, to grow, and to try out different stuff. And so that's what I always want the Art Center to be able to do, is to just continue to be able to offer that opportunity for people to learn and grow, and have that. And I think that's what's so important about art. I think that art provides a great opportunity to connect to a community. You know, art provided me an opportunity to connect, and I don't know what my life would be like if I didn't have those other artists and those students and those other people that I, you know, had. And that's what I want the Art Center to be too, is a sense of a community where people can come in and feel like that they're a part of that. You know, art is so essential for us to be able to process our culture and process what is going on, you know, in our day-to-day lives, and giving us that opportunity to reflect, but then to also provide that conversation to the community about your experience, and others to have the opportunity to be impacted by your artwork. And to be moved by that. Art is such an amazing, accessible way for people to confront those issues, or to confront that parts of their life. So yeah, it's something that's so special. And I always like to tell people too, a lot of our people who say, oh, I'm not an artist. I do this. I was going to say, it doesn't matter whether you're an artist or not. Art is not about the title. Art is about the process of doing, or the process of engagement, the process of being in the gallery, and that it's for everybody, regardless of any sort of, you know, any sort of way that you feel that you are marginalized or underrepresented for that. It's there for you. So we just continue to put that out there and let everybody know it's here for them.
Yeah. What a great way to end it. And to tie it back to Maude, you know, you were saying like art is for everyone, all ages, and it's so inspiring that this woman in her 60s took up this practice. And yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about accessibility today and how art can and should be accessible to everyone. And I think that's the message here. So if you haven't been down to Maude Kerns Art Center, go. It's free. There's classes for beginners, exhibitions all the time, so many ways to volunteer, get engaged, go to shows, meet artists, get to know art, and fall in love with art. So hope to see you there. Thank you, Michael, for this wonderful conversation. And it was truly wonderful. I love talking with you, and I learned so much about the Art Center every time. And thank you to everyone at Maude Kerns for all the work you do every day. We appreciate you, Michael, taking the time to chat with us today.
You got it. Thank you so much, Lacey. Thanks to everyone at Arts Council. You guys are amazing, and we love partnering with you whenever we can. So absolutely.
And for all of you tuning in, we hope to see you back next week and every week for more live stream happy hours every Wednesday. And don't forget that Visual Arts Week is coming up, kicking off at the First Friday Art Walk on August 5th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. And lastly, don't forget that you have an important role to play in keeping the arts alive in Lane County. So we encourage you to make a donation to Lane Arts Council, to Maude Kerns, to your favorite arts organization, whoever that may be. Help support the arts and keep our arts community strong. So we rely on community support. We rely on you. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.